Where is it smart to invest your money? And what does the future look like for our kids? Find out more today on the DNaz channel. I am your host, DNaz. I welcome you back to another episode. That's right. I'm sorry I came in late. I ate some grub on Thursdays. I know you could check this out on Thursdays. Today, it's a Saturday, baby. And we're in it. We're grooving, right? Today, I want to talk about digital ID, digital currency, where to invest your money, what's smart, what's hot, what's out there. Because we're struggling right now. A lot of us are struggling right now, and we're not so sure about our future, right? I know I'm not, right? I want to make our future something better for our children, right? I want our kids to have something great. You know, one of the things is being in America, we don't tend to think ahead as much as other countries because we are a young country, right? We're only 250 years old. Most people here do not think about the like long term, okay? Or do they care? You know what I mean? Or do people care about a couple hundred years from now? But other countries are planning for a couple hundred years in the future, maybe even thousands of years in the future. They want to know what the world's going to look like, right? We have a hard time planning for tomorrow, but we need to get better at that because everyone's like, oh, well, you want to care about you now. What does it matter? What does it matter what you leave your kids? Well, let me tell you something. You're in 50 years, your kids are going to be grown up, but you're still going to be here. Most likely, if you're my age, you're still going to be here. Do you want it to be shitty? Right? No. Right? What if in 50 years from now, your life can be completely different? What if we develop technology that is saving us all? Now you can live another 100. What if you're not dying of old age? What if you're not dying of disease while you're dying of old age? You know, you might still die of old age, but what if you're not in pain doing it, right? Nonetheless, how do we create a better future? Well, first we have to create a better future for ourselves, and that means we want to put ourselves in good financial standing. Okay? So there's a couple things we need to be aware of, though. First, how the world is changing. How is the world changing right now? So I'm going to point over to the UK and how crazy it is right now. It's insane because they're arresting people for Facebook posts over there. I'm dead serious. You know, if you haven't heard about this, like old people are being pulled out of their homes, arrested because they posted something on Facebook that the government didn't like. Maybe they said something about the government, right? That is tyranny. That is complete control. We cannot let that happen here. That is absurd. And I hope that over there, they're not letting it happen too long. They need to put a stop to that, right? But you could see where things are changing. You could see where they're going to come and try to take control. So one of those areas they're going to try to take control is digital IDs. That's right. Now, people want to complain, oh, America's not that free, blah, blah, it's not that great. Only people that live here are thinking that way. That's why so many people are trying to come here, right? Because we have a lot of freedom, right? You know, many people here don't even have paperwork. In the UK, you have to have passport, an ID, everything. And now they're initiating this digital ID. Now, what is that? People might think, oh, it's not a big deal. You just get a digital ID. It's something that's digital, okay? It's a big deal because now when you can't go get a job unless you have a digital ID, when you can't travel unless you have a digital ID, what's this going to do to the old people that aren't that good with technology? What's this going to do, you know, to all the other people that don't have access to technology, right? And aren't able to easily do these things. And on top of it, these things cost money. You go get a duplicate ID, you lose your ID, or your ID expires. That's a scam in itself. Your ID expiring, it's your ID, right? They just want to keep tabs on you. That's exactly what digital ID is doing. They want to make sure after 5 years, your facial recognition hasn't changed, you haven't gotten no plastic surgery, blah, blah, blah. They want to know everything about you, right? So, and they're charging you to do it. You have to go pay for this ID, right? For a duplicate ID or to renew your ID. It's outlandish, right? So, digital ID is gonna be that transformation where it's like, okay, you can no longer access your bank account without a digital ID. If you don't have a digital ID, you can't get a bank account, right? And yeah, it's just going to deny access and give another way for them to slide in more fees, areas they can charge you and have control of you. Because if they have you digitally in a system and you have to have it in order to travel or get a job, right? That is just like it's kind of like mandating the census, right? They want to know who's here. They want that census, right? So this is also going to come with our digital currency. Our digital currency is making a big come up. So Bitcoin, I want you to know, Bitcoin was like a tester. And I think we should invest in Bitcoin, and I'm going to get to that. But before I get to that, the investment part, I'm trying to show you what to be aware of and what is changing, right? So you can adapt. Because if you don't adapt with the times, you die out. And that's just it. You can't fight everything, right? Digital age is here, it's coming, and it's growing fast. Okay? So your digital currency. Now, Nixon was the one that took off the value to the dollar, like gold to the dollar, you know what I mean? And every day we're printing more money. And every day that we print more money, the money that you hold in your wallet, the paper money, that is decreasing in value. It might be fractions of a cent. You don't even know, right? But this is how smart people invest. This is how rich people think. They're thinking, okay, even if my money's only growing fractions of a cent, if it's doing that a million times, blah, 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 maybe only a few cents here and there, eventually your money's going up. What matters is that your money is going up, not down, right? So moving over to digital currency is where we're trying to go. Bitcoin was like the tester. Bitcoin was, okay, let's see how people react to digital currency. Let's see what happens. Now, there's another great thing is that Bitcoin was it's kind of helping inflation. It's kind of helping going around that market where we used to be able to invest in certain areas. You know, like the housing market is all out of whack. There's not a lot of good areas to invest. And this was another area that you can kind of get around certain taxes and just certain ways to a place to put your money that's safe and it doesn't lose value. The government's not in full control of it. You are, okay? But what you don't realize is that is just like a probe. It's like a little insert to see how we adapt to digital currency, right? Because if you look at what Trump's talking about, look at what a lot of leaders are talking about. They're talking about digital currency coming and having their own government coin, right? Like Bitcoin, but a government one. Okay? So that's coming very soon. That's coming. So we should get used to these types of currency systems. We should get used to it and we should learn more about it so that we know how to use it. Okay? Because once digital currency comes, your paper money is going to it's just going to go away. It's going to lose its value. So what's going to hold its value? Now, gold is never going to not lose its value. It's just something that humans, we wrap around. But that's what we're trying to get rid of. So the US being in debt $37 trillion. If we switch over to digital currency, if we take off currency being equated to gold, if we let that happen, all that debt can just go away. It no longer matters because that debt is accounted for in the gold, like what we have with precious metals, and it's equating to the dollar, what we have in currency, right? So if that just goes away, that now and it's digital now, there's no, you know what I mean? It's like cleaning the slate. It's like cleaning the slate. It's a way for the government to clean its books. You know, you get what I'm trying to say? So that's coming. That's coming. We're going to be switching over. They're going to start having a government coin. You know what I mean? So this is where you are going to want to invest in other areas, right? Because you don't want you to be fully controlled, especially your money. You know what I mean? What happens one day if the banks crash, right? So another thing that happened with the digital IDs, I think this was in Vietnam, right? One of the banks mandated or something that you have digital IDs, or they closed out accounts. So if you don't get it, you close out, your customers no longer have access. Over 40% of their clientele lost their money. They shut down. They have no access to their money. And this can happen with banks. That's why you want to make sure you have a good bank, because if that shit closes, your money is gone. Your money is gone. So you should never keep your money all in one place. Now, I am not a financial advisor in any way, okay? As you can see, this ain't rich dwellings I'm standing in here. This is me getting smarter with you guys, okay? We're a team. We're together on this. So where can you put your money? Where can money go, right? So gold is one of them. Precious metals. I mean, people need them. We need them. We make jewelry. Humans just have that lust, that desire, right? So that's always going to have value. And you can watch the price of gold. It's going up, okay? That's one area. Another area is land. To me, land is more valuable than gold. It's more valuable than anything else, right? Even for yourself. Nobody, have you ever noticed we're taking down, person buys a piece of property, they cut down all the trees, right? And then they plant stupid trees around that aren't even like native to here. And then, you know what I mean? Then they complain when they get older, they have no trees, right? So people don't plant enough fruit trees. You should be buying land to grow your own food, to grow your own fruit, vegetables, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So your land to me is worth more than gold. You find land with water on it. Find land with fresh water. Because what can be more valuable to you and your family and your kids than having land with clean water and your own food that you're able to grow on, right? Nothing is more valuable than that. Not only is that good for your future generations and yourself and your health. I'm all about health, so that's why I would want land. But buying land and property is also valuable because we are urbanizing a lot of places, right? So as we're urbanizing, people are going to want the same. They're going to buy it up. They want to make lots. They want to put stores up. So you can buy vacant lots or, abandoned buildings, and you hold on to that for when a company wants that. And now that's your property. You know what I mean? Now you could sell it for twice as much. Now you could sell it, when that area turns into a huge popular area that everyone's moving to, or they start cleaning up that area of the city, and now boom, now your land is worth a bunch. Or a big company wants that property, boom, now you have the advantage. Now your money is put into something. You don't just have money, you have assets that are growing, okay? Just like investing in the stock market, right? So land to me, is the most valuable thing. It doesn't matter if you're buying abandoned houses, warehouses, if you're buying whatever. Owning property, it doesn't matter if you're buying in the middle of the woods like I suggest. That is for living. Go buy land with acres, wooded areas, for yourself. That is for your own living. You should have that for yourself. Everyone's trying to buy a house or a condo. No, go buy land. Go buy land and build a house. Buy undeveloped land and build a house. One, it'll be cheaper at the end of the day. And two, you're going to have a lot more property, right? A lot more private property that's yours. That land you could grow on, hunt on, get water from, okay? So invest in land, invest in stocks. I'm not a big stock market person, want to learn, would love to. But another thing is invest in this digital currency, Bitcoin, you know what I mean? Even if you're just buying one Bitcoin, even if you're buying, look up other ones. There's plenty of other ones, but this is coming. The digital age is coming. And we need to learn how to put our assets in smart places where our money can't just be taken like that, where if a bank closes, we have nothing, right? Where if they switch to digital currency, our money has no value. Forget that. Invest in precious metals, land, stocks, and digital currency, because it's coming. The digital age is here. And I'll give you more information as you come back next time on the DNaz channel. like and subscribe for more, and we will see you next time.